First day, he gets in the truck, and within hours of starting his very first shift, he steals $100,000. When police finally received a complaint from the company and opened an investigation, they found the check ledger, 281 fraudulent checks.
Oh my gosh.
Totaling just over $205,000. This is The Bad Hire, the show with the best stories about the worst employees.
We fired him, of course.
People are crazy.
It's like an HR nightmare.
Right. One bad hire stole all of it.
Crazy stuff. She got what she deserved.
Oh. I'm your host, Ken Monroe, and every week we dive into real-life stories from the wild world of work and what can happen when the wrong person gets the job. These stories aren't just crazy, they're cautionary tales about lessons learned the hard way. Let's get started. Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Bad Hire. It's a show or the podcast where we tell the best stories about some of the craziest hiring events ever. So
that's right. New tagline.
Yeah.
New tagline every time.
Yeah. I don't like doing the same tagline. And I'm here with Emma and Nathan. What's up?
Hey everybody.
Hi.
All right. So
hello.
Why don't you tell them what the drill is, Nathan? What do they got to do? What do we do every week, and tell about our contest?
Every week, you're not in the mood to tell the stories?
Yeah, well, let's do it.
That's fine. Every week, we all get together and we tell the best stories about the worst hires. And so if you're in any kind of recruiting, hiring manager, if you own your own business, even if you just know somebody, then send in your stories because we want to tell them on here. Not just to wallow in the pity of the sadness of the chaos, but really just to make it, hey, it's relatable. If you've got a crazy story, if hiring's not really gone your way, you're not alone. This is kind of the world that we're in.
Yep.
So send in your stories. We have a contest right now. We've had it pretty much since we started. We started almost a year ago. Mm-hmm. We'll be coming up on 1 year of the show in like a month or two.
I think it's the end of July, beginning of August.
Yeah.
Like that.
And then we'll be giving away $10,000. So
to the best story.
Speaking of 10,000, Emma told me this morning we just hit 10,000 followers on Instagram. So shout out to Emma.
10.1.
Oh,
that's right.
Wow, that's a big jump from yesterday.
Yeah.
Rock on.
And Glenda the Good Witch from the Broadway, Kristen Chenoweth.
She liked our video.
She liked
this morning.
She liked our post. It's been the buzz of the office.
All right. So, we love that.
That's our intro. Anyways, that's all I got to say.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so you guys ready to roll?
Yep.
Ready to
go.
go.
All right, I got to go. I read a little bit of this already. I started laughing. So, here we go. So listen, there's this company called Garda, and they operate armored vehicles. The job is exactly what it sounds like. Okay, You put money in a truck, drive the truck, the money stays in the truck. It's a role with pretty clear success metric. Get money from here to there, that type of thing.
Okay.
In the summer of 2017, they hired a 19-year-old to guard the money.
Seems like a bad idea.
Yeah. First day.
Wonder whose idea that was.
First day, he gets in the truck, and within hours of starting his very first shift, he steals $100,000.
He took it himself? Oh, no.
There's a surveillance camera.
What?
It exists specifically because the vehicle is transporting large amounts of cash. There's one in the truck, caught the whole thing. Footage showed him basically helping himself to stacks of bills.
No way.
While the truck was en route in Fairfield, New Jersey. He wasn't subtle about it at all.
I mean, what did he think was going to happen?
This is my lucky day.
Sometimes you wonder, right?
Wow.
First instinct is to steal $100,000.
Yeah.
I feel like, not that I'm trying
How
to
would
help.
you do it?
Not that I'm trying to help him out or anything, but I feel like you should start with a smaller amount first.
Yeah, for the next time. Police recovered $85,900 from a nearby vehicle before arresting him. The remaining $14,000 was never accounted for.
That is wild.
It's crazy. He was charged with second-degree theft and released on his own recognizance, meaning he walked out of the arraignment on the promise he'd show up to court. He had at that point been employed for approximately one shift.
This is his first shift.
Yeah. When investigating,
he is coming in hot.
When the investigative detective was asked what happened, he said this: "He just chose the wrong profession."
Yeah, the other profession was being a theft.
I mean, you're looking at a big stack of money, and you're looking at so huge, and there's so much of it. And you go, they probably wouldn't miss
that much of that big stack.
Yeah.
How will they know?
That's crazy.
Who's counting?
Yeah, who's counting?
I guess, like, how do you do a background check on a 19-year-old who, like, just finished high school?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I guess maybe it's
I don't know
a bad
that
person out the gate.
I do think it's interesting. I mean, that's kind of a significant role to put a 19-year-old on. I was thinking, I was like, well, 19-year-olds go to war, they fight our wars, they fight our fights.
It's
they
not
can
like
do that. They can certainly ride some guard on some cash. It just, you got to be. There ought to be some test you take that would indicate that you're not dumb enough to steal money on camera on your first day.
It's not like all 19-year-olds are bad, but
Right.
that's hard. That's an insane story.
Yeah. So story 2 here. So a payroll specialist is printing at a printing company in northeastern Pennsylvania, has access to the check system.
Okay.
She knows the names of former employees, and sometime around 2019, she quietly opened a personal bank account. She doesn't use it right away. She waits 4 years
Okay.
before she uses this account.
Slow burn.
Very strategic.
Yeah, this has just been a burning idea for a long time.
Yeah.
Like trying to build up the guts or feel slighted enough to do it.
Yeah.
In December of 2023, she starts creating payroll checks using the names of people who had already left the company. Former employees who would have no idea their names were being used. She routes every check into that account she opened back in 2019 and waits to see whether anyone notices. Nobody notices for 5 months.
She's getting away with it.
When police finally received a complaint from the company and opened an investigation, they found the check ledger, 281 fraudulent checks.
Oh my gosh.
Totaling just over $205,000, all made out to people who hadn't worked there in years.
Wow.
She was charged 281 counts of theft, 281 counts of criminal use of communication facility.
Each one's individual.
281
And she was
counts.
just pocketing that money?
Yeah, related to consolidation of theft, 9 additional charges, 852 total charges.
Wow.
That would be a very large background check when it came across.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is a particular kind of irony for someone who worked in payroll.
Yeah. Man.
She was arraigned and released on $100,000 unsecured bail. One more detail worth noting. This was a printing company. Their entire business was producing documents. The documents that ultimately undid her were the ones she had made herself. 281 of them all printed.
Wow.
Right there.
Wow.
So she was printing
Insane.
their own checks.
So she was just waiting until John Smith quit, and then she's like,
I guess
check
maybe
to
that,
them.
like add
That's
an extra
crazy.
2 checks,
What if
where
she,
no one
like-
notices.
What if she started sabotaging people so that they would quit or get fired and leave so that she could use
I
them?
haven't had a bonus in a while. We need some, I haven't been able to take a check. We've had really good
Who
retention.
wouldn't they miss if they were gone?
Yeah, let's get rid of somebody.
Let's get this guy out of here. I'll take his checks. That's
Yeah.
insane.
Jeez.
5 months is a long time, but also, 5 months is kind of a long time
To what?
to go undiscovered.
To get away with that.
To get away with it.
Actually,
But I guess you could get
the
away with it for a
typical
while.
fraud in small business is actually much longer
Really?
than in big business. Lasts
Yeah.
much longer.
Interesting.
Because of they don't have the detection systems.
The visibility.
Yeah, and auditing and all the layers of protection process.
Yeah.
So
makes sense.
In smaller companies, the average fraud in a small company is well over a year long. It's perpetuated forever, and the average fraud size is actually larger than in large companies.
Yeah. Fun fact.
Interesting.
That's crazy. It makes sense because, I feel like how would you get away with something like that at Google? Like they would catch you like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
You did try something like that at a bank or something.
It's not
you're
gonna
gonna
happen.
get caught. But
Man.
yeah,
Well, that's sad. Man, between her and the kid, they're just like stealing money left and right.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Remember, we just did the thing with the Alex Hormozy, social media reaction we did, where we watched his video where he told the story where he got stolen from.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And it was like somebody that he knew.
Yeah, like somebody tricked.
That's even scary.
Yeah,
I always thought that was interesting.
It was somebody
'cause
that he
knew
went
had
into business
committed
with
it,
that he knew. Yeah.
But as it was like the person explained it, like, oh, this was just it was a bit of a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
But he still stole. Then he stole from from Alex. So
Yeah, that's insane.
and that is one smart dude. So if he can have it done to you, anybody can.
Yeah.
Before we dive back into the chaos on the bad hire, this episode is brought to you by paychecks. Hiring shouldn't feel like rolling the dice. Background checks should come with great tech, seamless integration, and customer service that delivers. That's paychecks. Lightning fast results, unmatched accuracy, built-in fraud prevention. We help you hire the right people. Now, paychecks plugs into over 100 HRIS and ATS systems, so your background checks run smooth, fast, and backed by top-level service. Protect your team, protect your reputation, protect your sanity. Go to paychecks.io. That's BCHEX.io.
So listen, here's another one. So I'm in manufacturing, fast-paced, blue-collar, union environment, mix of men and women on the floor, and we hire a new maintenance supervisor who on paper looks incredible. I don't know how many times we've heard that. On paper.
It's always the intro.
That's right. Strong
They looked
skills,
great.
solid background, vetted through a recruiter, 3 rounds of interviews. We did everything right. About a week in, he's out on the floor overseeing a group of employees when he walks up to one of the women and asks what she's having for lunch. She takes the question at face value and tells him whatever she brought from home. Oh, so he says, oh, so you're not on the menu?
We got a reaction out of Marcus from that one.
straight up goes,
Wait,
"What?"
no,
Not good.
this story was submitted to us.
It was?
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A few male coworkers nearby heard it and went straight to the woman's brother,
Oh, he
who
works there?
also worked on the floor. Oh.
Dang.
Well, things escalated very quickly. We terminated the supervisor the same day, collected his equipment, and had IT scan his laptop. In just 1 week on the job, he'd managed to do very little actual work. What they found instead was an extensive collection of adult content.
Oh, right.
Oh my God.
Apparently, that had been his primary activity on company time.
No way.
3 rounds of interviews, a recruiter, a week of employment, and that's what we were left with.
Wow.
Ooh.
Dang. How does that happen?
It's
Where
No,
like,
thank you.
you do everything right and the creep still gets through.
Yeah,
That's-
I think it speaks to how hard it is to hire great people.
Yeah.
You know, it is the difficult task of talent acquisition.
You can understand why people are so hesitant. Like, we talk a lot, even we were talking about this morning, some other content, like interviews can go a long time because
Yeah.
companies are extra careful. But then sometimes you understand why. Because
Right.
like you don't want to just pull the trigger on somebody who's going to be
I mean, think
terrible.
about this. At least somebody overheard it, or and some people
Yeah.
around her reacted appropriately.
That's good.
But if it had just been like, some guys have been like, oh, we didn't, no big deal.
That'd be some really bad culture.
Yeah. I mean, it was just, next thing you know, you've got just a real cancer in your culture, just really messing it up. You'll probably lose a good employee who's,
Yeah.
because of what she's dealing with.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's insane. That was submitted
Yeah, it was.
like a couple days ago.
Either a couple days ago or a week ago, something like that. But yeah,
Wow.
it was
All right. So, Nathan, what do you have?
Okay, so I got a couple stories to read. The first thing I have is a guest segment to react to.
Okay.
Hi, Morgan.
so we
Morgan's
got-
commenting on our live right now.
What's up, MJ from San Diego? How you doing? And then hi, Morgan. I think that's Morgan. I hope it's Morgan. It's from the
Yeah, I hope it's
from
Morgan.
the Beach account.
What's up?
Yeah, Marcus.
NJ from San Diego.
Marcus, I got a video to react to. So whenever we're ready. So this is Casey. Spent some time with him on our guest segment. So thank you for your time, Casey T. So he's like the head of growth at a company called, I think it's Service Professionals. So head of growth. So he does their marketing, he does their sales, he does their recruiting and their hiring, pretty much just anything to help the company grow. So he does it all. So shout out to Casey. And so Service Professionals, I think they go out and they find the best tradesmen, plumbers, electricians, and things like
Right.
that. And so it's kind of a mix of marketing and the trades. And so shout out to Casey. But this is one of the hiring stories that he had told me.
One of the early hires that we were evaluating, pretty senior level guy. He comes in, crushes all of the interviews, really impresses everybody. And then we get to the background check stage, and I have to follow up a couple times. So already in the back of my mind, I'm like, it's not going smooth. Like there's a little bit of pushback, and like I have to chase him for this. So runs a background check, and then we get the note on the side that's like, hey, just so you guys know, someone stole my identity. So it's a long thing, had a bunch of stuff going on. And sure enough, background check comes back and the rap sheet is like 3 pages long. So we're trying to figure out, like, was this the case? Like, person saying he has a twin brother who stole his identity and all of this. Long story short, we didn't end up pulling the trigger, but we had heard through the grapevine years later that was the right move. that it was the person. There were things under the surface there, but we dodged the phantom twin brother that stole his identity.
This, unfortunately, is not the first story we've heard like this before.
Yeah, this actually happens.
That's
all the
crazy.
time.
Oh, that wasn't me. That was my evil twin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get a lot of disputes like that too.
Yeah.
At paychecks. So where someone will come in and go, hey, it's not me. It was my twin brother, or someone stole my identity. And there are actually solutions we can do. But the reality is, when you do that, we're going to be like, okay, absolutely. We're going to take you seriously and we're going to investigate. And, honestly, 9 times out of 10,
Yeah.
that's, it's not true.
There's no brother.
Yeah. There's no brother. There's no twin.
Yeah.
Sometimes there is a twin.
Yeah.
But they're just trying to shift the blame, and you're just like, okay, well, we're going to go get mugshots. The investigators will go and get definitive evidence. So it's pretty interesting. You do get that. When they're slow to sign that background check release, and then they talk about, and then you'll also hear, oh, I have personal policy about giving out my social security number.
That's convenient. Yeah. You're like, it's not a good sign that his story kind of shifted halfway through. Like, oh, my identity was stolen. And also I've got a twin.
I got a twin.
And also, somebody's impersonating me. So
I would tell you that would not be the
place.
first time we've heard these stories.
Yeah.
I hate it, but for them, much better for them to just hit it head on and just go ahead and put it out there. He interviewed so well. He just said, this stuff happened in my life.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. It was the worst time, worst decision, but I'm 100% past it. Let me tell you what I've done, and we're going to move on.
Yeah.
And not everybody, but some will appreciate that and hire you.
Mm-hmm.
So especially in an environment like that, it's when you put off, lie, try to get past it. That's when they're like,
the common theme is don't lie.
Yeah. All right. What do you got?
Yeah. All right.
You got another one?
I got a story.
This is me.
Yeah.
Oh, this one. This is set up for you.
Yeah, that's for my turn. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got a couple stories to read.
Yeah.
So you guys ready?
Yep.
All right. So I hire a human resources assistant. They are a remote position with standard hours of 8:30 to 5:30. She seems great on paper. Every time we hear that. Interviews well. She settles in, no issues. Okay, she's actually getting started. This is what I don't know, is that 4 months after joining us, she took a second full-time job. This one was as an HR specialist for the TSA, paying $132,000 a year with a workday starting from 7:30 in the morning. So that was a 10-hour daily overlap that she now has, that she's supposed to be working for me. So she certifies full attendance at both jobs. And by September, she's added a third position and then a fourth. So now she's working 4 full-time jobs all on top of each other.
I guess every time she's an HR specialist. I wonder if she was doing recruiting. Maybe every time she interviewed somebody, she's like, they could go 1 of 4 places.
Yeah. Hire you over there. Hire you over there. Okay. Then a fourth job. So she eventually holds roles simultaneously across 6 organizations: the TSA, the HUD, the FDA, Air Force Reserve, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, Explosives. So all these, which is crazy that these organizations are catching this. Yeah. And she keeps 3 laptops open side by side, and she rotates like Ron Swanson spinning in a circle from one screen to the next with the appearance of activity on each employer's system. Her time cards are routinely claiming more than 120 hours of work in a single 40-hour week. So this goes on for 3 years.
120 hours.
Yeah, you know, she's working, she's grinding.
Right.
She's working really hard. So when federal prosecutors finally catch up, so if this sounds all cool and nice, it's like, oh, I could pull this off. When federal prosecutors show up, they catch up with her. The total losses across all 6 employers approximate about $292,000. She pleads guilty to wire fraud, and she faces up to 29 years in prison, with prosecutors recommending no more than 24 months. And here's the part that I keep coming back to. At every single one of these organizations, she had been hired as an HR professional, the department that exists specifically to identify fraud in other people's employment situations, and she was very good at appearing to be good at work.
Yeah.
Right.
So I thought that was an insane story, especially since it's like those official government places.
It's you got to know when you do it there, you might get just fired.
Yeah.
Somewhere else. But if you're doing it to the federal government or an agency, they're probably going to come after you for stealing.
The prosecution is crazy.
And prosecute you. It's not like, it's a little different.
Yeah.
And I don't know. You guys know, and I say this, boy, I got cooked online in the last comments on one of these stories.
Yeah.
I mean, people are like taking the side of a person that they literally said, half the audience believed they should be able to work multiple jobs
and lie to everybody,
and just
every
lie.
one of them. Yeah.
And because they get to, triple up their income, and, the company would never pay them for that. And I was just, I was just like, wow, it's hard to believe,
Yeah.
I mean, it's again, you should just be able to steal from a bank. You can make more money if you just steal. Just steal. It's worth it. You can make more money.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
Well, the main thing is that, like I said earlier, hey, just don't lie. Don't lie to your employer, right? And if you, let's say, have a kind of easy remote job where you work super early in the morning, another kind of easy remote job where you work at night, and you talk to, and they're both aware, it's like, okay, you've talked to them. They're in the loop. You're not lying to anybody.
Yeah.
But if you're lying to 6 companies and saying like, oh yeah, I'm only working for you, and you're telling each one that, it's a little bit of different book. Because then you're straight up lying. Which
I've got guys or developers that we have right now that have come to us and said, hey, I really would like to pick up some gig work. Do you mind if I do this, that, and the other? And we're like, no, we want you to, if you have if you got the desire and you want to put in more time than we're asking, absolutely. But I think there's a really sense of respect when someone comes and brings that.
Yeah.
When they do that to me, I'm going to try to do everything I can to make it happen.
It's just good communication. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Anyways, that was a great story. Okay, next story. So I run a hospital, and in June of 2022, we were bringing on a new chief operations officer. He comes in with a solid resume, he completes our hiring process, and he gets the job. What our background check did not surface, and I still think about this, is that in 2015, he had been convicted of federal wire fraud, and he was sentenced to 5 years of prison for defrauding 2 healthcare organizations in Louisiana. What background check service are you using that you don't catch the big extended prison?
I'll answer that question in just a minute.
Okay, that's good. A health cooperative and a cancer center. He had run fraud schemes at both, served his sentence, and then applied to help run our hospital. How convenient. Federal convictions are public record. We acknowledged that directly when everything came out. We said that we would be conducting a full audit of our screening systems to figure out how the heck that happened. He lasted 13 days. The moment the convictions came to light, he was terminated, and we began reviewing whether any data had been improperly accessed during his time with us, which was about 13 days. A man with documented federal records of defrauding healthcare organizations was hired to help run a healthcare organization. He didn't bring it up during the hiring process, obviously, and our hiring process didn't find it. We are in the business of identifying risk, protecting people, and making careful decisions, and our screening process for a senior executive didn't reflect any of that, and we said so ourselves. That's a crazy story.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, here's how it could happen. Now, in most healthcare organizations, there's some fingerprints done, but he may have been in a position where it didn't have to do that type of fingerprint, so he did a commercial screen. And here's a mistake HR leaders make all the time. right? They get a screen that does county level screens, a national database, and they don't add federal screens. So if there's where federal charges, those are in federal courts, and they have to be searched separately from county courts or state courts, and those big national databases that all these salespeople in the background screening industries say contain everything. They're awesome.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't have those federal records on them in most cases.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of organizations who don't know to run that federal, that they have to ask for and run it. And a lot of background check companies don't want to do them because they're not as profitable as selling some of the other stuff, and they're hard work because it's very manual to do them. And so they just assume, make better margins on other stuff. And but you got to order those to get that. And so something that's just simple as that, you're hiring a CEO, you hire everything. He's never been arrested by the local sheriff, by the local police. He's never been to state court, all that. He was in federal court. You bought a background check because your HR team didn't know any better.
It's just such a crazy place to cut corners, especially at that level.
That's funny, Nathan, but with you would say that, but sometimes I think it's not cutting corners. It's just lack of knowledge.
You just don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't. This is a complex industry, and it's so easy, and salespeople want to sell you what you ask for.
That's true.
It's like usually like, hey, I need a background check. Does this and this and this, and they, as soon as you say yes, they're, a lot of times they're not interested in trying to talk you into spending more, especially if it's competitive.
Yeah. And that's the wildest part is they probably, and we hear these kinds of stories all the time. These people probably think, I'm doing the right thing. I'm hiring this person. Hey, I'm going to go through this extra step, the safety step of getting a background check. Oh, hey, they passed. We're good. Like, we're making all the right decisions, and people can still do all that. And they don't know that, like, they got the wrong kind of background check or the cheap kind or whatever kind, and they're missing stuff without even realizing it. And so it leads to
that's the reason I built Screening Hero is because I just years of HR leaders just not understanding the complexity of our industry and buying things and thinking things are done a certain way because, maybe a salesperson told them that or it just wasn't clear. And that's the reason we did it. All right, Emma, what's up?
All righty. First, we're going to do another guest segment.
All right, cool.
This is Liz.
Hey, Liz.
I interviewed her a couple weeks ago. She's a manager of recruiting and sales in the Chicago area, and she's been doing recruiting for like the last 10 years, I believe.
Nice.
Awesome.
But she was wonderful to talk to. She had a lot of stories to tell me. She's super knowledgeable. I love her. So let's hear her story.
Let's check it out.
I filled a direct hire talent acquisition manager position with one of our clients in downtown Chicago. Everything was going great as far as I was concerned. I hadn't heard anything from the client. I hadn't heard anything from the candidate saying that they weren't happy or anything. About 2.5 months into her employment, she left the office for lunch and then never came back. The client called me in like a super panic. I don't know what happened to her. She left for lunch and then never came back. She's like, I've tried calling the candidate. I've tried calling her emergency contact. I can't get a hold of anybody. Can you please try to reach out to them to see if you have a better success in doing that? I tried calling the candidate. I tried texting her. I tried emailing her. I sent her a message on LinkedIn. Heard nothing. The next day, the client was still like super worried because she still hadn't returned. So she actually called the authorities to do a wellness check. The police got to her apartment. Nobody answered. The next day after that, they were going through her desk and they found a bag of all of her belongings. So it had her work phone, her badge, her key, all stashed underneath her desk. So at this point, we're like, well, maybe she was just a walk-off. 2 weeks later, the candidate showed back up on LinkedIn with a new job.
What? Oh.
She's like quick. She just quit quietly.
That was so dramatic. It was like, oh, she's back.
Yeah.
That's wild.
This happens all the time. Someone takes a job. I think you guys remember the story. Maybe I've told it to you guys, but where, I was recruiting someone and I got in the process of talking to her. And then I noticed she was saying, like getting a lot of congratulations on her announcement of taking this new job at this organization. Mm-hmm. And yet she was still talking. She was still reaching out to me and And so we continued this interview process for like a month. And then she came in and met multiple people. And I was like, I'm watching this, now she's posting about, reposting some of her new employer stuff on LinkedIn.
And still talking to you.
And she's still talking.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I think people have, like, they take a job because they need a job.
Open. Yeah.
Right? They take a job because they need a job. And, maybe they're, as long as they got any feelers or anybody else, they're wondering if there's anything better. And so they keep it up. And, and then this is what happens when that one they hoped they would get, it was slow, did the 10 interviews, finally get around to hiring them.
Yeah.
And they're like, bye. And it just, it's, I'm sure, it's embarrassing. Hey, I just used you for 2 months to keep
I guess so.
To bridge me to that other one.
That's crazy. That's pretty dramatic.
It's terrible. I mean, think about, the talent acquisition person who put her in play. You go through,
It's always awkward.
and then it's just humble pie afterwards, the person you vouched for, you set up, you thought was perfect,
That's gotta
ghost
be
you,
tough.
and then you're, starting over.
Those recruiters, they stick their necks out for people, and they're like, yeah, this person's going to be great. You want to hire them.
Right.
And then that kind of thing happens. It's awkward.
Yeah.
They go through that a lot. So that's a crazy story.
Yeah.
All right, what do you have, Emma?
All right. My next story is one that was submitted to us. It's kind of long. So here we go. This person's from the UK.
Oh, cool.
So, all right. I worked in a lovely family-owned pub and restaurant for years as server and then manager. Things were great, but we really struggled for decent chefs that could manage the busy periods or turn out to be drug users. Apparently, a lot of the chefs in the UK are drug users. I don't know. Owner and sous chefs had to carry us most of the time between letdowns. We found an amazing guy with a ridiculously great resume, had worked at amazing places, including Buckingham Palace for a decent period of time.
Wow.
Good on paper.
That's cool.
Met him, seemed amazing, talked the talk, all that stuff, but there was a problem. He had a critically ill newborn at the other end of the country in a specialist hospital for his needs, and he wanted to start ASAP and commute between the job and seeing his wife and son a few times a week, which was 4+ hours each way. In the UK, that's like a lot.
It's like a whole country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the owner, who was also a father, said, "No, we'll take you on properly when you're ready, when your son is better. Let's plan on the meantime, like after the fact." So we start seeing him every other week or so as he pops in to discuss menus, and he's often crying while telling stories of his very ill child who seems to be worsening. It's heartbreaking to see. Meanwhile, he's produced a Christmas and festive menu for us, fancier than we're used to and above what our staff can produce normally, but we're all confident in learning once he joins. So we're reassured. We sell our Christmas Day and the festive periods out with his menus and the promise of the Buckingham Palace chef, taking pre-orders and deposits, which is a pain to get customers to do. He finally starts. His little boy is better. We all shower him with hugs and well wishes for his family. Shift 1, a lot of things at the past look very different to what I'd expect from my 9 years of front of house service, but what do I know? I've never been to Buckingham Palace, right? Wrong. Most dishes he did were sent back. Owner in the kitchen working with him is confused. He chalks it up to nerves and build up and everything like that. Next day, he's caught by several people Googling stuff like white wine sauce, how to cook scallops, how long to cook a medium rare steak. He's asked to make the soup and can't.
Oh, wow.
Owner manages to make it 3 days before gently telling him to prioritize his family and go back up north. Doesn't call him out on it. We're gutted because we have to restart the whole Christmas process, which upsets lots of customers. The kicker, a week later, we finally hear back from the head chef from the palace who had never heard of him.
Oh, no.
And we also had a close friend who was making a TV documentary in the hospital ward his child was meant to be in. This was meant to be a super critical case, and the child had been on a specific ward they had been filming for 6 months, and they had never heard of the guy,
Oh, no.
the child's name, either of their last names, or a child with that illness on the ward.
What?
Crazy. Managed to gaslight a whole business for months, let us cry with him about his child, and fake working at the palace.
It was all a lie?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What
It's
the
pretty
heck?
crazy.
So he lied about being in the palace and even his kid?
Yeah, he lied about having a sick child.
Did you read that last line?
Yeah.
What was the last line?
Here, you read it, Ken.
If you're going to lie, maybe start a little smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's some good advice. That's crazy. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like, was his reference the queen? Like, that's crazy.
Hey, you worked at the palace.
I know.
Yeah, don't worry about it. He's
over
ChatGPT.
But also,
What is an onion?
Like, I feel like
Good
I
for the
would have.
queen.
I feel like they should have checked that reference first before they
I mean, yeah, probably.
hired him. But I mean, what do I know?
Man, that's bold. That's bold. That's
Yeah.
really bold.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know, when you started talking about the front of that story, and he's talking about the kid, and I was like, kid's
Oh,
not
no.
going to be sick. It's just always, I don't know
so
how many
sad.
times
So
we've seen
sad.
stories of people who, like, you know,
Just like no
fake
empathy.
murder their parents, you know, like whatever. You know, he's like,
Yeah.
Crazy
my mom
story.
died, my grandmother, my dad, you know, and
Yeah.
then my husband, my spouse
Yeah,
died.
I
Got
know.
those
They're
stories.
telling everyone, and everyone's feeling sorry for them.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I guess then people just want the sympathy just to try and cover over their lies. You know, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, thanks for saying that story.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Oh my gosh. Well, hey, listen, that's it. That's it for today. Thanks for putting that together, Emma. That was some cool stories. I thought they were really good. And thanks for listening to The Bad Hire. We appreciate you. Yeah, we crossed over 10,000 followers on Instagram. I think there's others elsewhere. You know, I think the show's actually done pretty good. We're getting hundreds of thousands of views, and some of the clips are doing really well. So, and don't forget about that contest that Nathan told you about at the top of the
Yeah, send your
podcast.
stories in.
Yeah, we'd love to hear him.
Nathan wants to give away 10,000
I just
bucks.
heard in the middle of this episode that we've gotten 3 new submissions already.
Oh,
No kidding.
sweet.
Yeah.
They're all Morgan.
Yeah, they're all.
Yeah,
Totally not true.
that's great.
All right, well, submit your story. If you can go to thebadhire.com to do it. All right, that's where to go, and you can submit it. And if you want to do a segment like you saw with Liz, those are super cool as well. What was the other guy's name?
Casey.
Casey.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks to Liz and Casey.
Casey was cool.
For doing that. We're super appreciative. Good luck in your contest for 10,000 bucks. So, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.